On the football fill-in today, we have got the band back together, a famous quartet of Goldbridge, Paul Robinson and Super Dave Watson. We are talking all sorts today. It has been a class episode. Lots of Manchester United talk. Casemiro, you are not a defender, mate. Just give it up, all right? You're trying your best. It's not for you. David Moyes, fond farewell at West Ham. Eberechi, Eze and Michael Olise are going somewhere in the summer. Absolute ballers. And is Mauricio Pochettino going to be getting the sack at Chelsea? It's the football fill-in and it's a belter. Hello everybody, welcome to the Football Fill-In. We have got a lovely little quartet for you today. On my right, Super Paul Robinson, then we got Mark Goldbridge and Super Dave Watson. What a weekend we had, lads, by the way. The weather was absolutely banging. Did you have a good one?
Lovely.
A few beers?
A few beers.
It was incredible, weren't it?
Oh, Warwick races I was at.
Oh, were you?
Celebrating the treble with Claverden.
Win any money?
No. My wife did, though.
Yeah, the weather was banging anyway. Lads, what about your weekend? Good?
For me, amazing. Glasgow for the weekend, Celtic, Rangers. Never seen the sun in Glasgow, so obviously a few too many beers. Coffee's open this morning. I'm back at it.
I didn't have a drop.
Why?
I don't know. I'm meant to be playing at Goodison Park next week, so I'm trying to be good.
You're on the house train, yeah.
Boring bridge.
No, I was on the deck. I was doing the decking with Seb.
Yeah.
Bit of activity, lovely weather, lovely stuff. You don't have to drink to have fun.
No, you're true, mate. You're true. He's got some big...
Trying to teach Watto.
It helps, it helps.
You've got some big charity games coming up soon, haven't you?
I hope so. I've got to get through the first one.
I want to see what Goldbridge has got in the bag. We're going to start with you, Mark. Man United at home yesterday against Arsenal. It was all just a bit easy, really, for Arsenal, wasn't it?
Well, no, I don't think so. I thought United played well in the circumstances. I mean, I think when you look at it, Arsenal need to win that game. They only had 45% possession. The goal was completely preventable, which I'm sure Robbo was going to tell us about Casemiro. Although, as I said, I think Stevie Wonder could have told us what to do there. But I think that United, with that team that they put out, and I would have started 7 of Arsenal's bench for United. So I was like, this, and having lost to Palace, I thought maybe 6-7-0 to Arsenal because they desperately need to win. And I thought United did well. I think Arsenal, for some reason, weren't at it. Maybe a bit nervous, I don't know. But United never looked like scoring. Arsenal's big strength this season has been their defence. And United were just ridiculously ineffective in the final third, considering we had more shots. But as far as United have gone, it's all about the FA Cup. And as we were saying on the United stand, it's like there's 9 first-team players injured at the moment. And I guarantee you 75% of them are going to be fit in the next week or so. So I think that says everything. The people I feel sorry for at the moment are the fans, because we're just fed up of it and we need big change. And I think a lot of those changes needs to be the players, because it's just not the level that it needs to be. But as far as yesterday was gone, it could have been a lot worse. So I actually thought, Amrabat came in and gave us a bit of structure. I thought he was a really good example, actually, of what United need to do. People doing their jobs. Yeah. He did the simple thing well. He dropped in between the back four. He passed the ball. He misplaced it a few times, but there's so many players who just go beyond what they're being asked to do, like keep the ball too long, shoot from distance. But I think, the back four in the midfield did reasonably well.
You mentioned the goal, Casemiro in particular. We've got to come to the defender then, Robbo, OK?
He's not a defender, really, though, is he?
Yeah, can you break it down for us? What he did wrong and what he should have done instead?
He should have just stayed up.
Got up as quick as he could.
The thing from a goalkeeper's point of view is that you always want options on the ball. So if the ball's going back to the goalie, you want your 2 centre-halves just to split and get a little bit of width about them. But Onana had been blocked off from going that side. So what I didn't understand is why Casemiro then started to drop even deeper, knowing that he was never going to get the ball. So as soon as Onana knows he can't go that side, for me, Casemiro, you don't drop.
Just go.
You just stay high.
Yeah.
So the only side he can go is either to Johnny Evans or to Darlow, who was playing left-back at the time. But he obviously tried to go long, scuffed his shot because it was left-footed. But then Casemiro nails deep. So as soon as that ball gets turned over, Arsenal now are in a position where there's space wide, Arsenal player picks it up, Havertz picks it up, drives then forward, and then obviously Casemiro's playing him onside.
He never showed any urgency though, did he, Robbo?
No.
As soon as that ball's in the air, I know, and I've not played at the level you are, I know that we might lose that. Yeah. And if they do, I'm in no man's land. And he's still sort of like jogging. Yeah. He just never engages the sprint. No. He's never wanting
What is that though? Is that because he's not a
it's laziness.
centre-back?
I just think it's laziness. When you watch it, it's laziness because it's on his left foot, so he's not going to get a clean connection with the ball anyway, because it's going to be a scuff.
He's not going to
clearance
kick it 70 yards.
Like he does with his right foot. So you know automatically now as a defender, right, I've got to get up. I've got to get level with my rest of my defenders. And then now I've got a good line knowing that if that ball does get played down there, then he's going to be either offside or we're in better positions now to deal with it. But he just stays, and it's just laziness.
I tell you what, if that's 5 years ago and it's Real Madrid going for the Champions League, he fucking sprints.
Yeah.
That's the mentality problem. He's like, I don't fucking really get it. What does it matter?
He's probably moaning because he's got to play centre-half as well.
He's
a midfield player.
No intention.
So he's like, well, I don't really... And it does. It looks like that with him sometimes. He just doesn't really want to look like he wants to play in them positions. But you're being asked to do a job at Man United Football Club, so you just got to do it.
You know, the bit for me as well is, obviously the first part's a mistake because he hasn't pushed up, but then he compounds it again when Havertz gets into that space and he's looking to drill the ball across the 6-yard box. Trossard's making that obvious run that he's going to the near post. Yeah. Casemiro there just has to surely cover that space.
His body position as well.
Exactly.
So he has no idea what's
where
around
he
him.
is. Yeah.
You've also got Wan-Bissaka who's obviously gambled, so he's gone higher. Yeah. So he's now out of position. He's trying to get back, but it's just too late. Everything's too late.
Casemiro should have gone into that space, covered that space, because the space is what will kill you.
Yeah, of course.
As long as you get into that space there, Havertz sees that and thinks it's a bit congested in there. I might have to cut this back to the penalty spot even. Yeah. And if he cuts it back to the penalty spot, you've got a better chance of maybe defending the goal, haven't you?
Yeah, well, you'll position yourself as well now, because the only cutback was to where Trossard was. Yeah. So now you know where Onana's going to be for his positioning. So as a defender now, you're trying to get that distance in between of, right, OK, the ball's possibly going to go there, so I know I can defend that. But for him, it was like he had no idea where Trossard was. And that was the danger then, is this is going to be a goal now because I have no idea where he is.
Let's talk about what Wayne Rooney said. Was it before the game or after the game, Mark? I can't remember.
After the game, yeah.
After the game. He was basically, Mark mentioned the injuries that the Man United squad have got. We've all been in football teams where you can see there's certain players just don't fancy it. They don't want it. They don't want to be on the pitch on a Saturday afternoon, and they're happy to get injured, aren't they? They're happy to pull themselves out, rule themselves out. Do you think that's what's happening at Man United at the moment?
It looks like there's a few certainly don't want to step onto the dance floor. I've not played for the big team like Man United, but you've just talked about Casemiro. He's played for the biggest teams. He's done everything, but you have to have something about you when you get on that dance floor, and you can't go through with emotions when you play for Man United. It's got to be all in for any team, any level that you're playing at. And I think at the minute there's a few don't want to put their head above the parapet for the club and for the manager, to be honest. And they're too comfortable within that environment. They know if they don't play, there's nothing on it for them. They'll pick the money up. If they're coming out of contract, they'll still get a move. Agents will do the bits. And actually, it's about the love of going to play football for a massive club and try and do your bit. I mean, you said earlier you were quite happy with it, but like if we'd had a conversation 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago, Man U accepting that Arsenal roll them over 1-0 at Old Trafford and with a whimper, if that's what it's come to, then Man United's lost its whole identity, hasn't it? You know what I mean?
I think the problem is, you mentioned the dance floor, that it's been murder on the dance floor recently.
Absolutely.
King of the world.
It has. And that's what I mean. It wasn't a murder, was it? It was manslaughter. Yeah. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. It was 1-0.
Didn't mean to.
I genuinely expected it to be 6 or 7. And the fact that, and look, we spoke about it, didn't we? McTominay wasn't very good, but he was injured on Thursday. Johnny Evans can't play 90 minutes. You can slag those players off for the long term that they're probably not good enough. Well, they're not. But at least they're putting a bloody shirt on.
Yeah. But they know what it is to represent that club. And I think that's the culture that's been lost at the club.
100%.
You've got players as well, like Ahmed as well, like a young lad who's been on loan at Sunderland, done really well, but he's now been chucked in at the deep end. And them games are hot. That's where you want your leaders now to step up and help you. Yes. And if he's watching players like Casemiro just stroll around, then it's no good for him as a player to do well for Man United.
Well, it's like Garnacho as well. He got a lot of stick yesterday. And I was like, well, first of all, he's 19. And, his final ball wasn't good enough. They made some bad decisions, but he's 19. You can expect a 19-year-old to do that. Secondly, he's never injured. He always plays. So, all right, he might be a bit cocky or whatever, what people think about him, but he's never injured as well.
He puts it in as well.
And he puts it in, and he was... Ben White gets forward, and he was tracking him. I said, look, it's unfair to bring Rashford in, but this season, Rashford, if he'd played yesterday compared to Garnacho, I'd be worried, because Ben White will just leave him for dead and he won't track back. So, there are players out there that are just completely exposed by the fact that you've got all these players injured. And it'd be very interesting in a couple of weeks. Let's see how many play.
What's the most important thing for Manchester United next season? Because I watched the game yesterday and I was so I was so impressed by that Arsenal defence, how solid it is. Everybody seems to know their role. But I love Ben White, by the way. So aggressive, so aggressive. He wants to win. The two centre-backs, I love them. Is that something Man United need to get to first, is build that foundation from the back, real solid, stable defence, reliable heads as well that you know are going to be there, and then maybe start to look at the forward positions?
Well, you look at United last season, they won a trophy and they came third, and we had the most clean sheets in the Premier League. You look at us now, we've lost 14 games. So what does that tell you? Defence is really important. Last year, you've got Luke Shaw, who is... We haven't had a left-back all year. Yeah. You've got Varane and Martinez, Delo or Wan-Bissaka, both were playing well, and David De Gea. Now, you've got Onana, no left-back, Casemiro. The defence last year will always get you results. Arsenal didn't play well yesterday, but their defence has got them result countless times this season. Man City's defence is very much underrated, but for the last 4 or 5 years, I think Pep's made it very, very solid. So, yeah, United were already there. And this is why, for me, the injuries have been so big. I think he's had 30 different combinations in his back four this season. We're on our 7th and Casemiro, probably 9th choice centre-back, isn't he? So they need to invest in the back four and they need to remove some of these problems that have been there in the dressing room for a long time. And I wouldn't get rid of the manager. I think that because whoever comes in has got to do that.
Do you think Radcliffe will do that, though? Do you think he'll, like you say now, when you look at Man United, they just need a total reset again of going, right, he's coming now as like the new owner. You've got Dan Ashworth going in as like the director of football. So is that now for a chance for Man United to just go, right, we need to just start from scratch again?
I think you've got to keep some continuity because if you look at Arsenal, Arteta was given the opportunity to go in for a couple of years and then, you know, start getting rid of the players and start rebuilding the club. And they finished 8th before they've had these 2 good seasons. So I personally think if you get rid of... Everyone's gone apart from the players or the manager. So if you get rid of the manager, where's your continuity? Yeah. You're going to stick by some of these players who can't be trusted. So we've got a new owners, new CEO, new director of football, new technical director. I think you've got to keep Ten Hag just for somebody to go, well, tell us what the problems are. Because you might get rid of him in a year, but I think there needs to be some crossover, which is why I think you've got the likes of Keane and Rooney and Neville, who had been saying get rid of the manager. And I think they're actually a bit like the United fans now going, like after the game yesterday, we've lost 14 games. 70% of the United stand audience were keep Ten Hag. Wow. You'd never hear that. Yeah. And that's because I think United fans are fed up of seeing the same thing happen, which is let's throw the manager under the bus. Because if you sack the manager, a new manager's not, like you said, Ben, new manager's not going to sell the amount of players that Ten Hag will. And we need to sell players big time.
Well, as soon as other clubs know that Man United need to sell, that's when they go, oh, Buzzin, we can undercut everything here then. As soon as a club wants to put players on... That's why players don't really go on transfer lists anymore, do they? Because everything's a game, isn't it? When it comes to that transfer window, it's a merry-go-round of games and constantly playing off on each other. And like, no, he's not for sale, he's really important to us. When in reality, they know full well that they want to get rid of him.
Nobody's for sale at Man United, are they? Okay. Nobody's for sale.
Exactly.
But then until they're open, there's 80% of them going, but nobody's for sale. Yeah, but Mecca's an offer.
Oh, my gosh.
But look, Arsenal... they weren't great yesterday, but they never looked like conceding. That, what Arteta's done there and, what he's done with Havertz and Raya, you two were saying Ramsdale should be in goal and I said Raya, just shows you. But
you could have played in goal yesterday.
I could have done. But Arteta always gets criticised, but ultimately in the long term always gets proven right.
I think the beauty, and we're not trying to undermine Arsenal about it. I think the beauty of what we're talking about today is that Arsenal was so just sort of in second gear, so calm and so casual, and it just seemed to be so...
well-drilled
and straightforward for them, and we didn't really expect anything different for them, did we? Whereas in previous years, we would have expected them to maybe falter or fall at this kind of stage, wouldn't we? And I think that's where we are with Arsenal now. They're very, very good.
They're the real deal, mate.
They're the real deal. It's as simple as that.
Still won't win the league.
Well, there we go. That brings us nicely on to Man City, because...
They can't do any more, though, can they?
Arsenal? No,
they can't do any more.
And
they've taken it to the last game.
If they don't win it, then I feel for them. Yeah. But at the end of the day, sometimes you have to hold your hands up and go, it is what it is. I watched this game on Saturday afternoon, the Man City one, and I thought, this could be a bit of a struggle. This.
Oh, come on. They had a lovely afternoon by the Thames.
Fulham away is a tough place to go. Fulham at home are a decent team, right? Man City just
But did you see Pereira, their midfielder? He was walking around.
Yeah.
He had Amber Soleil and a towel. And he was walking around like this trying to find a bloody deck chair. They had no shots at all in the first 45
He was
minutes.
flying his kite again on the pitch like he was in training.
Like that, Fulham are the quintessential Premier League team. Like, they can beat anyone, they can lose anyone.
Yeah.
But what a time to play them.
Yeah, it was. I heard on the radio last week, right, and this is an interesting one to talk about, lads, yeah, is a lot of teams now, some people are moaning that a lot of teams, when they play Man City, they are beaten before they've even started the game. They get it in their head that they're playing Man City. They get it in their head that they're going to be on the back foot today. Man City are just this incredible outfit that are just going to dominate. And people are moaning that they're not really giving it a full effort or a full game because it's like, well, it's Man City, we're going to lose, isn't it? Is that how teams are approaching it, do you think?
I wouldn't say so, because a team like Man City, I think what you've got to look at is that they've got the players like De Bruyne fully fit now, Haaland's fully fit, and no matter what you do...
They are just wicked. They're incredible.
Phil Foden's playing probably the best football of his life at the moment, and this great news for England going into the Euros is that he has to start every single game in the middle of the pitch because he's causing so many problems for teams. But I think it's their movement. We talk about it all the time. Their movement, so hard to sort of... Whatever you do in training during the week, it's going to be totally different when it comes to that game day because of the way Man City move.
It's relentless.
Like even their fullbacks, come inside. Like Guardiola, when he scores them 2 goals, it's just their movement. They're just so good at doing it.
No, but the pass
so
inside,
hard.
like you can do a training drill all week, and all of a sudden, when Guardiola plays the 1-2 inside to De Bruyne, he's in the perfect position in between 4 Fulham players, and he's got 3 yards either side of him. He's just pulled in there. They don't know whether the central midfield got to drop onto him, the centre half to come out. It's just an unmarkable position. And then the touch when he puts him back.
The touch from Guardiola is...
It's a lovely goal for a fullback, isn't it?
Phenomenal goal. That touch, running at pace, coming onto a De Bruyne ball is just...
Oh, man.
And the finish in the bottom corner as well. He doesn't smack it.
It's incredible.
And his right foot.
It's incredible.
His weak foot as well.
It's another player that they bought from a centre-back from Leipzig for probably 90 million.
80
I mean,
million.
how do you compete? How do you compete with that? This is the problem with Man City. They can go and buy a guy for 90 million and gradually feed him into the team. You know, if it takes 3 years, it's fine. We'll use it left back to start off with. In a couple of years, you'll be taking Diaz's role. But just for now, just filling at left back. 90.
Look at this for a stat. Rodri has now gone 48 consecutive Premier League appearances without ending on the losing side for Man City, which is 39 games won and 9 draws. In the history of the competition, only Sol Campbell between November 2002 and October 2004 has ever had a longer unbeaten run. 56 games, by the way. That's bonkers, isn't it?
It just shows you how robust they are as players, though, as well, is that they'll put themselves on the line to go and play these games all the time, whereas someone like a Rodri will go, he would never say, I don't want to play, I feel tired.
But that's the culture's totally different.
And Pep demands off his players to do it, doesn't he? Yeah. And I bet you if you asked him to play centre-half, he would go there and be the best centre-half.
Bells and whistles as well, mate.
100%.
That ball would get cleared by the goalie and he would push right up.
But that's all credit to Pep with what he's created at Man City. And it's the same now with like your Arsenals with what Arteta's creating there. He's creating a culture where everybody wants to play for the team. Yeah. They all want to play for each other. They all want to stick together and do what the manager tells them to do. And like a player like Rodri, I mean, he's class. I love watching him.
He's a dream player for a team, isn't he?
But he knows when the fullbacks bomb on, I'm just going to sit and protect. I'm going to help my 2 centre halves, and I'm just going to sit here and move across to the side where he's going to go because I know that space is open now. But I'm going to go there and cover it and read it. And that's how good he is as a player for Man City.
This is, again, sorry to bring it back to Manchester United here, this is where, when all the Ten Hag talk comes about, this is something where I really want Ten Hag, though, to start really being accountable for it and going, no, this is the culture now, and start calling players out. Because Pep would, Klopp would, Arteta would.
Pep's got rid of them, hasn't he? They've gone.
Yeah, but he's got to have that above him. Like, Pep came into a club that sort of was like, please come here. His technical director had actually gone there before him to start doing the work. Is it Begeristin or someone like that?
Bergstein.
So I think at United, it's interesting what Robbo was saying. Rodri, as good as he is, won't want to miss a couple of games because there might be a youngster or a new signing like Kovacic that wants his place. If you're a current United player like Rashford, Bruno, Martinez, Shaw, I'm not calling them out, but they know as soon as they're fit, when they want to be fit, and look, I'm sure Bruno wants to play now, but he knows he walks straight back in that team, whereas Rodri probably goes, and that's what elite level is, isn't it? Even at Man City, they're like, I might lose my place. I mean, Jack Grealish, don't even know if he's fit or not, 100 million quid, where's he at the moment? Like, you're out.
We're going to talk about Chelsea in a minute. Before we do, can we just give some predictions on this Tottenham Man City game.
Tottenham are playing the kids, aren't they?
But listen, right? Listen.
Again,
Tottenham,
what a perfect... City played Villa a few weeks ago, and Emery goes, yeah, let's just play the reserves.
We've got a big European match.
Arsenal 2 weeks later, in between a big European match, we're going for this, and they win. Spurs, what a shit game for Arsenal to have.
Spurs players, right? Spurs players are not going to just throw one in, are they? They are not going to just throw one in. I know the fans are sure that they are, and the fans are saying we'd rather get pumped by Man City so that Arsenal don't win the league. I understand all that. But Spurs aren't just going to turn up and throw one in. They're not.
But having said that, look, you know what? I was on about this yesterday. 1995, Blackburn at Anfield, Man United away to West Ham. All Blackburn have got to do is avoid defeat and they win the league. Yeah. Liverpool, right? Liverpool beat Blackburn.
Yeah, but Jamie Redknapp didn't know what to do when he scored that free kick, did he? He's like...
And we would have won the league. We were in the league if Andy Cole could finish his dinner, because we drew at West Ham. But like, I was stunned that day. I was like, Liverpool will not throw this in, and they did. They won. So you never know.
So I'll give us some quick predictions then for that game. Man City Tottenham
4-0 City.
A walk in the park, yeah.
I'll go 3-0 City. Yeah.
You going 3-0? See, I don't think Tottenham I think Big Angie's losing his rag now with a few of the Tottenham players over the last few weeks.
I like it, see, this is what I'm talking about.
I've seen him getting aggressive with them now on the touchline, especially at Chelsea when he was asking them to play forward more, because Tottenham just kept going sideways. It was boring. Yeah. Now he's like, it looks like, well, Tottenham players, come on now, you got to show, otherwise we could be like a pet where Ange will go, no, he's not for me now, Tottenham, I need to move him on. So I think Tottenham, they've got to show up. They've got to show that they've got to give Man City a good game. But Man City at the moment, for me, are just... 3-1, I'm going to go Man City.
The thing is, even if Tottenham really turn up, like really turn up, yeah. If Man City are,
if they really turn up,
if Man City,
if Tottenham really turn up,
genuinely, if Man City are a 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, they're still beating them, aren't they?
They're still beating them.
I tell you what, though, I mean, it was a bit like this with United yesterday. We knew if Arsenal drew, the title was basically gone for Arsenal, and obviously we want Arsenal to win the league over City. But I was saying yesterday, fuck that. It's not my job to stop Man City winning the league. We're shit. We're nowhere near it. Man United could still get Europa League football, which is important to us. So fuck that. I want to beat Arsenal. It's not my problem. And Spurs fans need to wake the fuck up, because if Villa don't beat Liverpool, they beat Man City and they win their last game, and Palace beat Villa, which could well happen.
It's a tough game for Villa, isn't it?
Champions League football's there for Spurs. What are you going to do? We stopped Arsenal winning the league. You could be in the fucking Champions League. All that money, the players you can buy. Sometimes you've got to put your rivalry aside and go, look, we want to be better than Arsenal. If you want to be better than Arsenal, you need to be in the bloody Champions League.
You need Champions League money.
You've got to look at yourself. Just look at yourself. It's simple. Don't worry about what's going on with everybody else. Just look at yourself. It's as simple as that.
Get me in that dressing room for Spurs tomorrow.
All right,
Addison, you little prick. You get out there. If you want to go to the Euros, you get out there.
He's going to go to the Euros, but he's going to be like me and Ben and you and Robbo. He's going to be watching.
Yeah. Nice time for a few beers.
If he has
no beers.
If he has a worldie tomorrow,
you
never know. He might get in the Euros.
Let's talk about Chelsea, lads. You know what? I don't know if I've got a soft spot for Chelsea or whether it's for Pochettino, but he's kind of turned it round a little bit.
Watto has. He loves Chelsea.
He's turned it round.
What did he say at the start of the season?
I said top 4, didn't I?
Yeah. They probably would have done with another month.
Yeah, maybe.
They've been on fire lately, haven't they? They've been scoring goals. They look like they actually know what they're doing. I know it's probably taken them about 8 months longer than what they wanted it to, but they're doing well, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing really well. And like you said, they probably want 2 more months of the season because they probably feel as though they could get. Certainly not going to win it either or get near Arsenal, but they certainly feel they can get in that top 4 for sure. They're ending the season really well. I think the game suited them in terms of Forest with Luton's result. Kind of, we're all done and dusted. But they had to show a mentality 2-1 down with 15 minutes left. No, they're a really good team going forward. I think they need some better recruitment at the back and potentially a new goalie as well to really get into that top 4 mix next season. But I still believe Pochettino was the right man to take that team forward.
Well, after the game, he was actually asked about his future. Like he seems to get asked every single week as well. And he started to bite back a little bit, hasn't he? He started to give a few little naughty responses at the end of this game in particular. Asked about whether he would be leaving Chelsea, and he put, "It's not the end of the world." Would you take him at Man United?
No.
Really?
No. I think Pochettino is the right man for Chelsea next season, and I think he's probably the guy before the guy. Chelsea want to win titles. I said when Pochettino went there, he won't win the title there. But what he's good at is getting top four, and we saw that at Spurs. And Chelsea are desperate for that at the moment. And the reason Chelsea are playing well at the moment is because they're doing something that United and Newcastle and Brighton haven't been able to do all season. He's actually been able to put an 11 where people can play in each position. So he's got a midfield, he's got a front three. Obviously, Palmer's been brilliant. He's got left back, he's got right back, he's got two centre backs. I agree with Watto. It's not the quality you need to get in the top four, but that's why they're climbing the league, because they've just got some stability and consistency. But why would you get rid of Pochettino? Like, they've got a momentum at the end of the season, which we've seen before with many managers in the past. You can take that into next season. So unless they've got something really surprising lined up, why are we even talking about Pochettino? I understand 3 months ago, but they're on a good run. What is it? 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. He's took them to... They did quite well in the Cups. Been to a final and a semi-final. I mean, that club's a mess. I don't know why he's even being spoken about leaving. Where do you go?
Yeah, true. And from one right back to another, good to see Reece James back. Yeah. Come on as a sub, set up the winner as well.
Yeah, great assist.
He's had a bad time with injuries.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, again, another long layoff. What was it? 5 months he was out with this one again. But yeah, it's great to see him back. Good timing as well, because that competition now for right back slots getting exciting. Because for me, I'm picking Ben White as a right back in the England team, and then I'm moving. I'm going to put it out there. I'm moving Kyle Walker to centre half.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're moving the assistant manager so we could get Ben White in.
Get Ben White in, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'd have to do that.
That's the only way he's in.
What happens? What happens with England in the summer? Because I agree with you. Look, I think Ben White.
You pick your best team.
You pick your best team.
Your best team and your best players.
Ben White don't want to go.
Yeah, but that's what they got to
You've
sort out.
got more chance of going.
Oh, yeah, left back. Shaw's injured.
That's what I mean.
Chilwell's out. So
He won't take Ben White. Never in a million.
No, but that's the argument. Obviously, with Reece James now coming back, you're looking at your first choice right back there with Kyle Walker.
I wouldn't take him, Reece.
But
He's
no,
too
but
injury prone, isn't he?
Yeah, I know, but he's gonna look at what he brings to the team, doesn't he?
Southgate's
Trippier's been out though. He's just coming back as well, so he's been out for a while.
mates race.
Reece James, right? If he's fit and he's good to go, I've watched him play live a couple of times, and honestly, he is one of the best. He's one of the best sort of right-back defender you'll ever see. I promise you will ever see. Just everything looks under control. He's so quick, powerful.
He's not a tournament player, though, is he?
But
not every 3 days.
It's like they're not robust enough, either, for a tournament.
Exactly that.
You know what I mean?
When you go to a tournament, you need to be training every single day. Yeah. So if you're not in that starting lineup, you have to put in the hard yards in training, make sure standard stays high. I guarantee you, at Chelsea, if he had played yesterday, he'll have 2 days off now. He'll have 2 days off where it's full on recover, rest, recharge. We'll do a bit of gym work, but that's it. Don't go on the training pitch until Thursday. That's it.
It's like Robbo says as well. His injuries are not like knocks, are they? They're always long-term as well.
Really good.
That's your worry with him, yeah. But it's great to see him back. Yeah, great ball in for Jackson. Good header, because we've seen him miss them as well, Jackson.
Yes, we have,
So he was well controlled, the header. So a great finish.
All right, let's talk a little bit of Crystal Palace. There's 2 players in particular. Well, we could talk about 3. Mateta, who's been banging them in as well, but 2 in particular, Michael Olise and Eberechi, Eze. I think they're both getting sold this summer, lads. I don't know who to. There's going to be a lot of teams looking after them, but you are not getting each one of them for any less than 80 million quid.
Well, at least you are, because at least he's got a release clause.
How much?
50.
Oh, you're not getting for any less than 50 million quid.
It's still a good deal at 50 million.
Definitely going, isn't he?
50
because
million
Palace
quid is a snip.
Eze is going to be more interesting, but with that release clause, because I think he nearly went to Chelsea a year ago.
Yeah.
So they kept him with the release clause, which was a brilliant bit of business. But
it's not.
Obviously,
I don't know if it is a good.
Well, now he's just so good. So Man United really want him, and United need a winger who can put a cross in. So I'd take him tomorrow, but there will be other clubs looking at him.
Even with that injury record, though, as well.
Because I suppose United are in that position where we're not Man City. You can't spend £100 million on the perfect winger, can you, who's never injured? So that's a bargain that Man United would have to go, he's an £80 million player for 50 million. Let's have a good look at him and see if we can, sort it out, because he's still quite young. But I think he's fantastic. His goal at the weekend was really, took it on his left foot. He's creative. And I'd be interested to see where he goes, because I think a lot of clubs would look at him.
Do you know what? I just thought of something there when you said that about the fact that he might get injured and stuff like that. And there are certain teams that are able to go, well, yeah, we won't take a risk on that. We'll go for the bigger boy and we'll pay 20 million quid more, but it's guaranteed. He's not going to get injured. He's going to be on the pitch. When I was at Watford, we had Gerard Deulofeu, right? World-class player on his day. Honestly, world-class player. Some of the stuff we used to see him do in training, right? And I remember we were talking about bonuses one year, and they were saying about, last year, and I went, last year was great because Gerrard was fit, right? He was fit. But his injury record tells us that he's going to pick up injuries. The reason that we have got Gerrard Deulofeu at Watford is because of his injury record. He could be playing for a top 6 team, but he won't be because he gets injured quite a lot. And that's the thing. If he picks an injury up on the first day of the season, our best players out of them, and that's what it is. And some players are kind of pigeonholed to certain teams, aren't they? Because of the fact that they might just pick up a little bit of an injury.
Well, that's the thing with these guys. Look, Olise and Eze for sure. Any top 4 team, top 6 team, top 8 team, they're all taking them. But the question mark then arises, them teams are going to have European football. So these guys can't do 38 games for Palace. Yeah. So to get that next bit for them, they've got the ability to do it 100%. They could go to any of them teams, but them teams need these players to be playing 50, 60 games a season. At the minute, they're not doing 38. So that's the worry for your big team.
Consideration for a big team,
absolutely.
But for a big team as well, they'd also be looked at very good squad players of when they need to rotate. But with someone like an Olise and Eze, they'll probably want to play every week. But that's not guaranteed.
Look at Doku at Man City. I mean, I wonder how many games he's actually started. Yeah. But he's considered a Man City player, isn't he? Because he's scored goals. But I bet he hasn't started.
But even
40 games.
A player like a Doku has to be comfortable knowing that, though, as well. Yeah. There are certain players that would kick up a fuss if they're not starting week in, week out. So you have to be. This is where really recruiting your players is so important. Knowing the sort of player, and when you're signing that Doku, you say, "Listen, mate. You're not going to be starting every week for us, and you need to be comfortable with that, because if you're not and you're going to kick up a fuss, you're going to infect every one of them players and piss them off. You'll piss me off as well, and it's not going to work. So you need to know that before you come here, okay? Yeah, cool, let me do it, let me sign. Hits the ground running, does really well.
But I think these top teams now, we talk about a City, Arsenal, they are the best teams on the pitch, but I think these top teams now aim to have the best staff behind the team, on the team, because if you've got the best conditioning staff, doctors, physios, all the team that comes behind it, you want to win that battle every year, because that way you can get your players to get through the amount of games that's required. And I think the top teams now, the team behind the team, phenomenal.
Just quickly as well, talking about the manager, I'm hearing he's getting linked with moves to Bayern Munich and all sorts now. But in fair play to him, like, he's come in, he's done absolute wonders for Palace, hasn't he?
Oh, he's done a great job there since obviously Roy's leaving and he stepped in and, look, what's the record there? Look, 21 of Palace's points have come under Oliver in these 12 matches. So 1-6, drawn 3, lost 3. And it helps when you've got players like Olise back, Eze back.
On the pitch,
On the pitch. They're the creative players in the final third. They're always going to cause problems because of what they're capable of. And as a manager, that's a dream to have them players in your team.
Yeah, of course it is.
That Wharton's done well.
Yeah,
very good.
Bayern Munich again. I've been seeing 60 million quid to Bayern Munich in that.
And his comment was he's going to be on the plane to England as well. That's what I love about him.
I like it.
He's like a confident kid.
Confident.
Yeah. I really liked him at Blackburn, wasn't he?
Blackburn, yeah.
Really liked him there when you played against him in the Championship. He just so elegant on the ball, like could find passes, but he covers the ground. Covers the ground as well.
Another year.
Oh, Palace could get decimated. They'll have 300 million quid in the bank, but they're going to get decimated. All right, we've got to look at the other end of the table then. Sheffield United already gone, but it was kind of the final nail in the coffin, weren't it, really, for the other two teams, Luton and Burnley. I don't know why you're smiling. It's like you're happy to see them gone. Get them out of the league. We want some proper teams.
I think the Premier League's got a massive problem. Like, we're crap in Europe. Man City are going to win the league. The three that came up have gone down. The refereeing shit. There's too many injuries because we're playing too many minutes. So apart from that, Premier League's the best league in the world, isn't it? But I think
we're all ready for a summer break then.
Yeah, we've got the Euros.
We've got another tournament coming.
But no, I just think that, look, Forest and Everton have had points deductions. I was looking at it. Luton are like 14 points off Brentford. Yeah. Forest obviously are in between them. It's like they've had a good go, but they're going down because they're not good enough. And it's the same for Burnley. And Burnley dominated the Championship. My thing is, I saw it in January when Newcastle played Sunderland in the Cup, and I thought Sunderland will give them a go, and they couldn't. The quality gap is massive between the Championship and the Premier League, because teams like Fulham can go and compete with teams like Atletico Madrid for players, and the quality is getting so big that when you come up, you play Fulham and Brentford, they're full of internationals, and it's really difficult. I don't know how you solve it, because they do get money, don't they? You get the parachute payments, but it's going to be Ipswich look a really exciting team, but I guarantee they're probably going to go straight back down. It's tough, really.
Well,
tough.
You need the front of your team, don't you? Sheffield United obviously disaster, but like Luton obviously put plenty of crosses in. Morris has got 10 goals plus, but it's still not enough. Yeah. Burnley have probably not got anybody got 10 goals. You need that 10, 15,
15,
somewhere.
yeah.
But that's a lot of money. But the only way that these teams can stay up is with a goal scorer.
Yeah. And it's hard to, teams like that, it's hard to attract players to go to Luton.
Yeah,
so they've got to keep relying on the same players that have got them to the Premier League. Whereas teams like that now who get promoted, they need to go to that next level and go and spend the money. But players don't want to go to them clubs, unfortunately. They'd rather go to the ones that they know that are going to keep progressing.
I think that's
in the
what's
Premier League.
tough for a
it's
team
hard.
coming up like
it's
Leicester,
hard.
because you would say like Vardy's obviously coming towards the end of his career. Can he maintain that? They've got Inacio. Is he really going to score 10, 15 goals plus? So Leicester obviously have been in the league for a long time, straight back up, first time champions. But they need to spend 30, 40, 50 million on a striker. Easy.
You're not getting a decent striker for less than 20, 30 mil. No,
and the thing is as well that annoys me is that I think Sheffield United and Burnley both did this. You come up and then you sell your best players. Like apparently Dewsbury Hall is leaving Leicester this summer, and you're like, that's never going to help you, is it? If you come up and you lose your best
Sheffield
player.
United did it like 10 days before the season.
They've got a points thing, haven't they?
They've got points next year as well.
So they're already now in their head, they're thinking, right, okay, well, we've got to recruit something here just to sort of.
But that's already attracting players when you're the promoted team as champions and you're already starting on minus.
Yeah.
Even if you've got 30, 40 million for your centre forward, he's thinking, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's not good for the league, though, is it? I mean, I think all three of them, we don't know who the third one is yet, but they're in the playoffs, so you'd probably say they're the worst of the three. Probably will head him straight back down. I don't see who would drop down next year. Like Forest look like they're probably going to get better. Everton will get better. Brentford are miles off away from it. It's hard.
We'll see. We'll see. I think it's too hard to predict, to be perfectly honest. Before we go to the quiz, we're nearly at the end of the show. We just got to talk about West Ham. Obviously, like I said, put the final nail in the coffin of Luton at the weekend. But David Moyes leaving West Ham. Has he been a little bit harshly treated, do you think?
Yeah, but I think he can walk away holding his head up high there because of the job he's done. I mean, I think he's an outstanding manager for where he's been over the years and the clubs that he's taken to that next level. I think West Ham, I think they'll miss him. I do, unless they replace him with the right man. I think he's done a fantastic job there, David, and he can walk away with his head held high knowing I've done really well here and I've created a culture, I've created a team. Yes, they've struggled a little bit.
Team, though.
Struggled a little bit where he got a little bit of stick off the fans by booing, but you've seen the reception at the end of the game with the applause that he got, and he deserves it. Yeah. He's a great man, and he will end up I think he will end up again taking another really good job on.
Yeah, I do too. Julian Lopetegui is the guy apparently in the frame to get the job. You said there about West Ham being a good team. They're a good team. They're a solid team. I think they just want that kind of a bit of flair, don't they? Because they have got some good players, haven't they, Matt?
Yeah, and look, I agree with Robbo. I think that for Moyes, it's the perfect time to go. Yeah. You know, the fans were turning. He's just won a European trophy. They're in the top half of the table. The risk with West Ham is they've got every right to want to play a better brand of football. Will you be in the top half with that?
Yeah.
I think West Ham have done really well to be in the top half again this season, considering teams below them like Brighton, who are probably better footballing teams than them. So look, they've got the stadia, they've got some of the good players. Lopetegui's a good coach, but I just think it's the time. The time is right. West Ham obviously want to change that identity, and Moyes has done his bit. So we'll see what happens next year. Certainly won't get relegated.
No, they won't get relegated. Fair play to David Moyes, though. Done a wonderful job there, and we wish you all the best. It's quiz time. Let's go. Jamie, there's four of us today, so you're sat in the corner.
Yep, I'm here today. Yep, 10 questions.
You got good questions?
Great questions. You know that all.
Let's go then.
Don't you worry about it.
Come on, Jay.
What team in the Premier League wears red? Manchester United? No, Arsenal.
Yeah, that's what he's been coming out with.
That was last week's question, wasn't it?
Exactly that.
That was last week, all right. So this week.
I saw it. I saw the comments, mate.
Right, quickly,
you're lucky
before
to
we
be
start,
here.
What football club has got the nickname the Robins?
Bristol Rovers. Bristol City.
Yeah.
Bristol City, yeah.
That's what I said.
Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Only because I saw us last week.
So, Paul Swindon, right? So I said
It's Bristol City.
I said
isn't it?
Bristol City. He said no. The answer was Cheltenham.
Yeah, it was Cheltenham, yeah.
But Bristol City are also called the Robins.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
He's technically right if it's the quiz according to Jamie and his head.
It's Jamie's quiz, yeah.
Well, yeah. Cheers for bringing that up as well.
Yeah.
Is there going to be some dodgy questions today, or are we
No dodgy questions.
I'm glad you said
clear
Bristol
on the
City
answer?
there, by the way.
I wish you said Cheltenham. That'd been unreal.
Right, Jay, let's go. Question one.
Question one. We're starting things off with a career path question. I have played for Liverpool, Real Madrid, Newcastle, Manchester United, Stoke City.
McLaren.
Michael Owen.
You
Goldbridge.
didn't say then.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
You said
Michael
Owen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was going to say Owen Hargreaves.
No, he was.
He started already.
I'm not having this. 1-0 to Goldbridge.
Oh, what a referee. What a referee.
Question
Assertive.
2. In the 2007-08 Premier League season, who was Chelsea's top goal
Drogba.
scorer? Not Drogba. No.
Lampard.
Lampard is the correct answer.
Good one.
Lampard had 10 goals and
How
Drogba
many?
had like 8. Yeah.
Top goal scorer
Yeah,
for
10
the
goals?
Spurs.
Only 10 goals in the Premier League. Yes.
They were a bit
So
shit.
Carl
It was
Morris
the
has done
Champions
all
League
right this
year,
year.
wasn't
then.
it?
Yes.
Champions League night.
Yeah.
Shit.
We'll have to question that one.
Question 3. Olympiacos beat Aston Villa 6-2 on aggregate in the Europa Conference League semi-final. But who do they face in the final?
Fiorentina.
Fiorentina is the correct answer.
He's like a little football sweat. He's going to know these questions.
There we go.
It's called an education, Ben.
Try it sometime.
So scores are
It's because I haven't had a drink all weekend. That's what it is.
School
The
counts.
brain's popping.
School counts, doesn't it?
Scores are 0, 1, 2, 0.
Brilliant, Jay.
Question 4. Which team finished bottom of the championship this season?
Rotherham.
Rotherham is
Boom,
the correct
come on.
answer.
Good one.
27 points they got.
Watto's good on championship and below.
That's my level.
Wow.
Even lower now.
Question 5. Gary O'Neill and Peter Crouch were teammates at
Portsmouth.
what club? Portsmouth, and it was Goldbridge, unfortunately.
Goldbridge again.
What do you mean, unfortunately?
Well, no, because what are you side?
There's
I thought that was close, to be fair, but
I thought Jamie liked you.
yeah.
we did.
He gave me the point. He gave me the
Yeah,
point.
gave you the point. That's the main thing.
Well done, Jay.
0.
Yes,
1,
we know the
3.
score. Right,
Just
saying
keep.
All right.
Hey, honestly, just keep going
Hang on,
with the
I'll
scores.
keep going.
Keep
Right,
going
okay,
with
we'll
them.
get the scores on the screen.
It's
and then
very
we'll go from there.
important. Very important.
Question 6. Julian Lopetegui is rumoured to be the next West Ham coach, but what other Premier League
Wolves.
team did he manage? Wolves is the correct answer.
There you go. You're in, Foz. You're in.
He's well happy with himself.
We're off.
He's buzzing. He's
What's
buzzing.
the
Scores,
No. Question 7. The Tyne-Wear derby is a derby.
Sunderland, Newcastle.
Yes. Yes.
No.
Yes.
I got that and you know
No.
it.
Yes.
No.
Ben got
I defo.
Right, so
I think
Ben
Robbo.
said it first, but I don't know who finished it first.
I think Robbo was first.
I defo said that.
And
Jay.
Yeah. Luke, what do you think?
I think Ben as well. So I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it to Ben. I'm going to give it to Ben.
Conspiracy again.
Well done,
Every
Jay.
time I'm on, it's a conspiracy.
What's the score?
On the screen.
All right.
3, 2, 1, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question 8. Can you name the 2 teams involved in the only draw in the Premier League this weekend? Can you name the 2 teams involved in the only draw in
Brighton,
the Premier
Newcastle.
League? Brighton,
Oh my
Newcastle
God.
is the correct
How
answer.
can we not get that?
I didn't even know that.
I can't
Wow.
remember that game. Was it 1-1?
1-1.
Yeah, 1-1.
I could
Question
not have got that.
9. Which club are nicknamed the Terriers?
Barnsley.
Huddersfield.
No, it's not. It's Huddersfield.
It's me, it's me.
Huddersfield.
Watto.
Watto got it. Yeah,
Who
correct.
is it? Watto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Huddersfield.
good, this 3-2-2-2.
2, 2.
Oh, wow.
Definitely going to
Oh.
get a tiebreaker.
No, unless you get the
I've
answer.
fell off. I'm like Spurs.
You're gone, yeah.
Question 10.
Until
Take
tomorrow,
it-
mate. Until tomorrow.
To take it to a tiebreaker or a Goldbridge win. Which club did Chelsea sign Michael Ballack from?
Bayern Munich.
Cousin.
Bayern Munich.
I wouldn't have gone by a minute. I would have said Leverkusen.
I thought it was
Gone
Leverkusen.
Leverkusen. Right.
I was going to say Dortmund, so.
I'm nervous.
Check that one.
Leverkusen was after.
I'm nervous.
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
nervous.
he finished his career.
I'm sweating.
Sure on that one, Tom.
Told you I've Spursed it.
This could be incredible. This could be incredible. So it's just me and Matt. No butting in, all right?
Yeah.
No helping, because I know you two, all right?
You're going to be looking at me for the answer, though, mate.
Tiebreaker question. Question 11. Who was the manager before David Moyes' recent stint at West Ham?
Scott Parker.
No.
Why did I say Scott Parker? It's
wow.
never going to be Scott Parker.
No.
I've got no fucking idea with this. West Ham before David Moyes.
Yeah.
Bilic.
Not Village. You're both back in.
Pellegrini.
Pellegrini's the correct answer.
Yes! Come on! Come on! I don't like the way you looked at him there. What? That is fucking shit.
Oh no!
He did not. He didn't cheat. He
I didn't cheat.
cheat.
I've just had
He didn't
another
cheat.
thought. Man City, Pellegrini. He's took it. He's ruined it now.
It's Pellegrini, the Man City Pellegrini.
Yeah. Oh, shut up. You don't even know who he is.
Only Chilean to manage in the Premier League, he is.
10-all.
Chilean.
Chilean.
10-all.
Well done, Goldbridge.
Well done, Mark.
11
11
all.
all.
11
Oh,
all.
decided next week.
Yeah, decider.
Last game of the season.
Goes down to the last game.
Well done.
I'm gonna be like Spurs next week. I'm gonna ruin it for Man City.
Jay, we might need to do a bumper.
Yeah, if Watto wins
Bumper
it.
quiz. Yeah, so
Good quiz, that.
well done,
I thought
Goldbridge.
Robbo was robbed.
Yeah,
I thought
redeemed
Robbo was
myself.
robbed
Yeah,
anyway.
I was robbed. So
Again-
I'll definitely
again.
get
Play the
Sunderland,
video back.
Newcastle.
Just play the video back.
We'll play the video.
We have camera.
We've never done that for me.
And I swear, where was Ballack?
Unit.
Right, I'll let you off, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I never
Thanks.
Well done, Jay. Well done, lads.
He was
See you
late
next
because
week.
after, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He did
after,
go after,
yeah.
didn't he? Yeah.
Can't believe you told him the answer to that.